Let's take a look at a typical classroom. And here you can see a course called Physical Science that's being run by Madison Academy. And we are currently logged in as the instructor, Madison Sam. We can see that right now Sam is the only person signed into this course. Otherwise we would see other active users. Here are the other members of the course, all of the students. Currently, Steve has assigned himself to a team. The other 5 students have not, which is why we see a problem over here. The instructor is just flagged to the fact that not all students have yet joined a team. Now we can see the start date of the course, the 5th of January. We can see its scheduled end date, which is the 4th of May. It's a 17-week course, and we see the start and end dates for each of the lessons. So this first lesson here includes course resources, class instructions, which is a broadcast. The instructor can post messages to every student in the class. There's a Q&A forum if students are puzzled about anything, and there's the ability for students to send private correspondence to the instructor or to other members of the course. And notice that these are highlighted as hot links. So if I click on class instructions, I'm taken to it, and now as the instructor I can post messages. In fact, you can see that there was a prepared message, and that message has already been posted on behalf of the instructor. Now use the breadcrumbs to get back to the main classroom. So if you remember, these hot links were added by the designer pasting in the names of activities, and also the designer may have added references, which are files and links, and they would also appear as hot links. If the designer had added a graphic, then that picture would appear here, but we have no graphics in this particular course. Notice that this particular lesson, which includes the course resources, continues for the entire duration of the course. The first module in this particular course is scheduled to be 2 periods long, which in this case is 2 weeks. So it lasts from the 5th of January until the 19th. And you can see Module 2 picks up afterwards from the 19th to the 2nd of February. And then Module 3 is from the 2nd of February to the 16th, and so on. In parallel, students must complete an individual activity, which is a research assignment and an individual project. So in this case, this lesson operates in parallel, and it's 4 weeks long. The names of all of the class participants are shown on the left side of the screen. On the right side is other information, including a complete list of all of the assignments, all of the activities, and students can navigate to them by clicking on them here. Likewise the instructor, as well as clicking on them if they appear as active links in the instructions. There are 5 other things that the instructor can do. First of all, look at which students are on each team. Can also look and change attributes of some of the activities. So, for example, will the instructor allow students to post using an alias when they post in a discussion? In effect, this means that the student can post anonymous messages. Also for this discussion, is somebody dominating the discussion? Would the instructor like to add a maximum number of messages that can be posted? Maybe 20 messages. That's the maximum that can be posted by any one person. And once they hit that limit, they can post no more to that discussion. Also, you can allow in discussions students to moderate the discussions themselves. If, for example, somebody posts an offensive message, students in the discussion can issue a warning for that message. And so here, let's say there are 4 students who apply a warning to a message. That message will be automatically suspended, and it will be no longer visible to the students. The instructor will see it, but not the students. And here is the number required for this graded discussion for the student to achieve their maximum grade. And the instructor can change that if they wish. For projects, it's possible, once the project is over, for students, if they give permission, and if this setting is set to be a check mark, it's possible for students to see the reports that were submitted by everyone else in the class. If the instructor doesn't want that to happen, then the instructor would just simply disable it, and now students will not be allowed to see the work that was submitted by others once the project is over. Here is the screen for grades, and so the instructor can view grades by activity or by student, and can choose when to release those grades. They're actually applied within the activity itself. This screen is more for adjusting grades. Once every student's grade is seen, it's possible for the instructor to curve those grades. And also maybe not to release them until all students have been awarded their grade. The instructor can also see the schedule and can make adjustments to that schedule at any time. If the row is highlighted in green, this means that this is an activity that has yet to start. If it's highlighted in red, it means it's an activity that is over. And if it's simply a white background, then this activity is currently active. And then instructors can also look at the activity of every student. Now, there has yet to be any activity, but the instructor can view either by student or by activity everything that a student has done. So, for example, in the case of a discussion, the instructor would see the number of minutes and seconds that a student has been participating in a discussion, how many different screens the student has viewed within the discussion, how many messages that the student has posted to the discussion. And so at any time the instructor can see exactly how much time a student has spent in the classroom and on which activities that student has spent their time. So if a student has not yet signed on, has not performed any activity in the last 3 days, then, for example, the instructor could contact that student and encourage them to be a little more participatory in class.